Okay, guys, let's start. So, um, 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 today we are going to study about array list. Okay, and to explain to you something about array list, array list is like a bag. Okay, I'm gonna sketch something for you first. For example, if we create a class called ball, right? And there are so many balls flying around. Now, actually, we have to put these balls into a bag, okay, or a basket. And then this is the first step to create, okay, and put it in. Create and put in. And the second step is to call, okay, or use it, and then use it, okay. So that's the step. So what I mean by using it is that we do it in draw, okay. So we use it every seconds continuously. So this is the first thing we're gonna study it about today. Number two, we are going to talk a little bit about vector. Vector, if you use Grasshopper or Rhinos, probably you're gonna know something about vector. Vector, oops, sorry. Vector is a line, okay? Vector is a line with direction, okay? So, for example, a line is from A to B, right? And maybe we said, okay, this x equals 5. But vector is the line with direction. That means this is not just 5 unit, but it is plus 5. And for example, if it's something like this, okay, this A, this B, that means this whatever x minus, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, and then y, oops, and then y minus 3 as well, or maybe 4. So you see vector is and this concept is very important in the future, okay, because it's gonna be the vector plus, minus, or multiply, that we're gonna use it as a force, so that the agents, for example, if we have a dot here, then the agent will fly around, go here, and these agents go here. So that's how we create this flocking behavior, okay. So for example, if this x0 and y0 here, right, the next vector, let's say vector A, okay, this is x plus something, y plus something, and this vector B, okay. So there are two vectors. I'm gonna draw in blue. B is blue. So for example, if we said A plus B equals to C, right? Simple math, okay? That means A plus B. So this is the C point, okay? I hope you understand it. it's just vector x, y, plus and minus. Okay, so you can sketch it on paper, write it down. Okay, yay. And for example, if there's some dot moving this direction, right, and it keeps moving and it keeps moving, so this frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, the dot start here and it comes here, and if we press something, let's say press S, then the vector is added to this direction, this C vector maybe on B. Okay, if you press S, then add B vector, right, then the dot will be somewhere here now because it adds B. So that's how we use vector in draw, okay, to move the dots. So that means if we come to the logic of agents, we have many dots moving this direction, that direction, this direction. So this dot vector affects this dot, and blah blah blah. Okay, so it's about vector, and we're gonna study more about that, I think next lesson, probably. Yeah, next lesson you're gonna see some flocking behavior things going on. So today let's focus about vector and most importantly array list. So again, I'm gonna start from top to the bottom. Okay, now first thing first, using vector we have to import a library, and from previous previous class I talked about the library that you will have to import, and the library is the plugin of processing. So in this case, I hope you already download Toxic Libs. So this first sentence is about importing library for Vec3D or Vector 3D. Okay, now you type import spacebar toxic.geom.star and then this semicolon is import things. Now ArrayList is the built-in function by processing. So if you type the words ArrayList with capital A and capital L, it's gonna turn into yellow, orange, and then you spacebar and then type the name of this array list. Now this can be any names. Okay, oops, wait, let me sign out this thing first. Now the name can be any names, and then equals new array list, capital A, capital L again, and then open and close parenthesis, and then semicolon. Now if I'm gonna write something like, for example, int hello equals 5. Okay, now you see this one is equivalent or similar to this. It's a function to say, okay, that's something that's called this, that's something that's called this, and it's array list. This thing is an integer, and then this thing equals to 5, and this thing equals to new empty, see this, empty array list. Okay, makes sense? Now let's continue. Oh, by the way, let me run this thing first, and I think some of you might click it already and try to run it. Now there are about 1,000 ball here, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Okay, now set up is here. This part is about making a ball or making any class or any objects. Okay, in this case we are going to make a ball. Now let me show you what the ball is in this case. Okay, in this case again, this ball is a class, open curly bracket, close curly bracket at the bottom. Now there is some differences between the previous ball. If you print the paper out, okay, the previous one and this one, you're gonna see that the previous one we use integers as a location, and then x, y, z, and then put the ellipse here, and we put the integer number here, or maybe float here, right? But in this case we change something a bit. We use vec3d. Okay, now if you see this is the ball. Okay, forget about this first, forget about this guy. Now in the constructor, this is a ball, and then open and close parentheses. Okay, but here you see, instead of writing int, I wrote down vec3d, and here is underscore LOC, which stand for location. Now it can be any names, okay, but just to make it consistent, I use LOC. Now when you see this, you should know that, okay, from the other page, from this main page, we're gonna have to put something, okay, and it's one value. Okay, I didn't write down, okay, and then let's have int, okay, it's just one value, right? And this value is vec3d type, not integer, not float, not array list, it's vec3d type, and then it's one value. Now if you see this, you see, okay, vec3d, the name is location, or LOC, lock, okay, equals new vec3d. Now if you want to create something new, okay, this is the syntax, or this is the grammar. You have to remember this, no other way. Okay, syntax of coding. Now log equals new vec3d, repeat it again. Okay, we make new stuff called log and is vec3d, and in this parenthesis the vec3d is a function by Toxic Libs. Okay, what is Toxic Libs? Is the imported library. So in vec3d you need 3 values. Now I'm just gonna show you what's Toxic Libs. Okay, this is Toxic Libs, and it is quite a big library, and there are many functions, okay, like particles, like making mesh, and So if you go down inside, you're gonna see I'm not sure which one. Well, you can search it by yourself, but here, for example, right, it's gonna be a bit confusing, but you can look around. This import geom, which we import. Now if you want to use mesh, you have to also create this sentence dot mesh, okay, add it in and all that. This some of the explanation. You have 3D, you have this and that, and you're gonna have 3D line, you're gonna have spline, you're gonna have Vec 3D here, right? And then you see blah blah blah, a bit confusing, but you need x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate or z coordinates. So back here, that means this is a 3D x, y, and z or z. Okay, so that means if you want to imagine this as a Rhino or Grasshopper script, this is the dot. Okay, but it's not just a dot, it's a vector, a dot with direction. Okay, ma? Okay, so that is why we just need one vec 3D here. We don't need many numbers. Okay, so this first vec 3D, we made it as log 0, 0, 0. Okay, however, this thing's gonna be override by the imported or the vec 3D that comes from the main page here, right? So that's why we make 0, 0. We can make it 100, 100, 100, 200, doesn't matter because it's gonna be override by this thing. Clear? Okay. Now, speed. This thing is quite interesting because this thing will get add on into it, into the simulation, and that's why this ball moved to the right. You see, all this ball move to the right because the x is 2. Right? Now, if I change this into 20, it's gonna move faster. Right? So that's it. Now, let's come to this part about function. A vector needs 2 points. Nope, vector needs depends. If it's 2D vector, then it needs 2 points. And if it's 3D vector, it needs x, y, and z. Okay. Now, again, here is some simple things, but we just change how it works a bit by using log instead of x, y, and z. Right? Now, this one, if you compare it, if you have it print on a paper, class 2, you can look at it. This ellipse, we need x location, y location, and the size of the ellipse. Now, if you type log, only log, okay, here, and only log here, the computer doesn't know. Why? Because log is x, y, and z. So, you need to tell it what is log, what type or what value of the log. So if you click dot, okay, x, now it knows that it's gonna get this thing. And again, it's a toxic ellipse function. Again, dot is like apostrophe s. Okay, so I'm gonna write down here dot is like telling computer locations x, locations y, something like that, right? It's like get the location x from this log. Now you need y. Oh, by the way, maybe what you are asking is two location. You're right. We need just 2 because in this case we make ellipse only. You're right, but I'm gonna teach you 3 anyways, and the computer will understand that it's gonna be flat because we use 2 values. We don't use 3, right? And in the future, in agents, just to give you an idea about agents, we're gonna make this class called agents. Okay, and in display we're gonna make it point, and then we're gonna use log x, log y, and log z. Then now it's 3D, and then in the simulation we're gonna use 3D. Okay, later I'll show you next class. Okay, now you understand about this ellipse and why we use log x, log y, and and this number, right? Now move function. Okay, add self again is a toxic ellipse function. Toxic ellipse add self. You see, you can Google about it, like how do I add this and that, add vector in toxic ellipse, and it's gonna show you some examples. But in this case, this is how it read. Okay, the location which is 0, 0, 0 dot. Okay, add self, that means it access the function of this object or this vec3d. Okay, so dot is not only apostrophe s to get this parameter. In this case it's a number, right? X is the number, y is the number, but in this case it access the function. Okay, so I'm gonna write down here, dot is also like telling computer get log function called add self. Okay, and it's capital S, by the way. Now because log is vec3d and this add self is a function of vec3d, then the computer knows, or toxic ellipse want the input as a vec3d. So in this case we put down speed in here, right? And that is just like what we sketched earlier about the adding vector. If this is the log and it just stay there, it moves, it uses this function move, okay, to add speed. So it goes here by 2, 1, 2, and it's here. Okay, and if it's next frame, then it goes here by 2 again, is here. Make sense? Okay, now bounce. Again, bouncing is like same as previous class, but here we use log x instead. So if log x or location x is more than width, okay, speed dot x, y dot x, again because speed is vec3d, it contains x, y, and z. You cannot wait, can you? Oh, actually you can set speed becomes minus speed, but in this case we don't want to minus all of the speed. There's no point of doing that, so we can call, okay, speed x equals speed x times minus 1, or you can set minus 1 speed x, something like this. Oh, actually I wrote it down here. Okay, so just for the sake of having different example, if the location hit the screen to the right, because it's more than the width, this is the screen. If it hits here, it comes back, and if it's less than 0, which is here, it turns back here again. Okay, go back, go back, go back, go back, 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 back. So this is how it works. Okay, now in this page, do you have any question before we go on? Any question? You can try changing the values and try to have something fun. Okay, seems like there's no question. So how about I continue now? Come back here, okay? Again, import things, make array list called array of ball, capital O, capital B. And this new array list, no function needed, don't have to put anything here, okay? No parameter needed, sorry. And is in void setup, we make this 600 screen or simulation window. Okay, now this fun part. I forget to tell you, not only that we will study about array lists, we will study about vector, and we will study about for loop. Okay, this is very important concept in coding. I'm not sure if in Grasshopper you have this, but I think you can write Python in Grasshopper to make for loop, or maybe download some plugin. But what's the concept of for loop? Okay, this is the thing that you have to remember. Open curly bracket and close, okay, and then write down for loop here. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you what it is. For, okay, int I is equals to 1. Oh no, 0. Okay, and then in this case I'm gonna say int whatever name equals to 5. Okay, now makes sense, right? I'm gonna write this for loop in another way. Okay, int whatever name equals to 5 and then semicolon. Now this int gonna be shown in here. Okay, once you write it outside, for example, you want to write I is now 10, it won't recognize because I is outside this for loop now. Int I is outside this thing, so it doesn't work. It's not a global stuff. Okay, now back here, int whatever names is 5. Now I'm gonna say whatever name will, okay, will always less than 20. Okay, make sense? It starts from 5 and it's gonna be less than 20 always. Okay, now semicolon again, and we said whatever name is plus plus. Now this plus plus means add 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. So okay, I close this bracket. So it means that it starts from 5, goes to 6, go to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, blah 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 blah, until what number? Say it. Until what number? Type it. Type it. Guess what number? Oh no, wrong. 19. Okay, why? Because 20 is equals to 20. Okay, computer is very straightforward. It's very strict. 20 is equals to 20. So that means this whatever name will start from 5 until 19. Okay, and let me show you why. Okay, open curly bracket and close it, and let's print ln, okay, or print line, and write down whatever name, close bracket, and then this semicolon. Now let's run it. Whew. Okay, ignore this this simulation window. Okay, it doesn't relate it to what we're gonna show you. Now you see here 5 6 7 8 9 blah 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 till 19, and the reason why it doesn't keep running because we write in setup run only once. Make sense? Now let's try this. Whatever name plus 3 plus or equal plus 3. I kind of forget. Yes, okay, let's try. Oh no. By writing something like this, it means that this thing will be 3 3 3 3 3 because it reads from left to right and something like that, and I think it's making error. Plus plus, how do I skip this? Plus 3. Maybe I'll show you later how to skip it so that it doesn't really have to go on plus plus. Okay, let's try minus times 3. I cannot. Okay, I'll show you later. For now, let's do plus plus. Okay, now it means that the number is generated from 5 to 19. Okay, again, this case we just want to generate number. It doesn't mean anything, and then we print out number. Okay, it doesn't mean that we make any class, any ball, or anything. Okay, now if we look here, okay, the numbers start from 0 and then it goes up to 999, right? And it goes up by 1111. So 1 2 3 4 5 blah blah blah. Now this is where we create the ball. Okay, again, vec 3D A. Right. Now vec 3D A, right? Again, we make a new vec 3D and we call A, but the computer doesn't know where it is. And then we said it's a new vec 3D, okay? And open bracket and close bracket here. The C value is gonna be 0. The Y value is gonna be random from 0 to height, or in this case it's 600. The same goes to X value, right? So what does it mean? It means that this thing runs, once we make A, okay, make this thing called A and it's vec 3D. Now the next sentence, okay, the next sentence means that we make a ball, okay, and then we said, okay, this thing is called ball and it's small ball. And what is small ball? Small ball is a new ball, and the location, you see, it needs some location here, right? You will see it here, and the location is lock. So that's why we make vec 3D here and we put vec 3D here. Okay, if you can think of it as a integer, right? This thing is like int, okay, int a, you see, and then we put here as a parameter that's needed, okay, you see. Makes sense. Now the code read from top to the bottom. We make something 1,000 times as a number, okay, and then we said we make an a values vec3d random blah blah blah, and then we make small ball at this random location, and then we get this small ball to put it here, you see. This last sentence, it means that array of ball dot add, and then this putting small ball in the bracket, this is the bracket, okay, and then we make this small ball at a location and put inside this array of ball bracket here. Array of ball we created already at the top. Now we use it here, array of ball dot add, okay, and add this small ball inside. Now if you add this small ball, you cannot have some others, like for example apple, okay, and then you call class apple or whatever, and then you want to add some apple here, array of balls dot add, and then apple here. No, you cannot, okay, even you make this apple blah 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 here, and then you use apple here, you cannot, because one array list should contain one kind of class, just to make it clear, okay. Now I will write down here. Okay, now question is, okay, so what, right? Here is how it works. In this case, for loop doesn't only generate number, it runs per number, okay. What I mean by it runs in a loop, okay, for loop, the name itself kind of say much about it. It means for loop, it run in a loop, okay, run, continue running around and round. So in this case, you start from 5 less than 20, the numbers goes like 5, and then it goes up here. No, not go up, go inside here. Sorry, it doesn't go up. It goes within this bracket, okay, but it goes here, and then it said, okay, now it's 5. Next round is 6. Next round is 7. Okay, that's for loop. Just to make it even clearer, I'm gonna print ln here and set breaking line. Okay, right? Now I'm gonna print it. You see this? This is what I mean. The code read from top to the bottom, and then it goes up to the top and the bottom within that curly bracket. That's why it prints 5 or whatever name, right? It starts from 5. This is the number, is integer, and then breaking line, and then it goes up to 6, breaking line, right? Make sense? Now if you look here, it means that it create this, put it in a bag, and then create another random different one, okay, different random, call A again, make this, put in a bag again and again, almost 1,000 times. Okay, in this case I have to say 1,000 times, not almost, because if you print it, it's gonna start from 0 until 999, including 0 is 1,000. Okay, so this is how the coding language works. Make sense? So far, does it make sense? Anybody? Ooh, somebody have a for int. Oh, what happened? So any question so far for int xx equals to 5? Oh yeah, why is error? Interesting. Interesting indeed. I'm not sure. Can you try to delete some spacebar or something? Or maybe change xx to something else? Unexpecting? No. Okay, let me try to use xx. Equals what? 5. Well, in most cases, the reason why you get an error is because some spelling or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to see the code. Okay, so anyways, or maybe you write in somewhere, line 32. Anyways, let's continue. So this one, right, it makes new things and put in a bag. Now if you only make something and put in a bag without showing it, then it doesn't run, the thing doesn't show, right? So in this case we have to call it out, and when we call it out we want to show it in every frame. So that's why it makes sense to call it out in draw here, right? So in the background, again, background comes first, 0. For loop, int I equals I less than, Now, this one is very interesting because instead of writing 1,000, it is better to write the array of ball dot size, open and close curly bracket. Okay, basically it's the same thing, but you have to understand this, that sometimes when we make this array list, okay, for example, we have this bracket and we put 1,000 ball, okay, or in this case let's say apples, we put it here, so that means there are 1,000. And sometimes we will say it, if we press X, then delete one apple, right? So for example, if we press X 5 times, this one becomes 995, right? I mean the current apple. So we want to show 995 kind of apples. instead of 1000 apples. And if you write down 1000, then it might get an error. So what I mean is that actually you need to write this. Okay, there's no other ways. Okay, now so here int I equals to 0, but I is less than the size of this array list. Okay, the size is like the latest size. Previously we write down the fixed number, right? Here we call size blah blah, and it goes up one by one. And then we said, okay, this is another thing that you have to remember, no other ways around. Okay, we call it ball A, and again this ball A is different than this ball A. Okay, this vector A, sorry, not ball A. In this case we use small ball as a ball. Why? Because this A happens only inside here, and this I happens only inside here. Here we use this number to print. Okay, and sometime later we might have to use this number. For example, if we want to give the ID or identity to each of the ball, then we said, okay, this I is a number, right? It's integer. Then we add on to this ball. For example, A and then I. Then this A is the location and this I is the identity. So one loop, the first I is 0, the next one is 1, the next one is 2. However, if we want to do that, we have to add it here as well. Okay, and say int in index. Okay, or identity or number or ID or whatever. Okay, and then later we can say, okay, this index becomes the color, you know. So for example, 0 is light and 1000 is very dark or something like that. Okay, now coming back to this, in this case we make ball A. Okay, here we make ball small but these are putting information from here to ball small. However, this one we said, what is ball A? Ball A is or equals ball array of ball dot get I. There's no other way of writing it. This one you just have to remember. We put class here, okay, and we put array of ball here, and then function dot get, okay, and then I. It means that this ball we get the first apple. Okay, we get it in this sentence. It only means that. Okay, and this apple is called A. Next line is A dot run. It means that, oops, it means that we run A's function, okay, which is called run. You see A dot run, and we don't put anything here because the function doesn't require anything. Okay, again, if you don't know this, review the last lesson. So it means that we get A and we run A, and what we mean is that we bounce, we display, we move in every frame. And then the next loop is gonna be we get another apples and it's called A, okay, the same name, but it's the second apples because this I become number 2 now, and then we run it. Make sense? So now that's why we created at first, like the very first moment you click, you create it, and then in every frame for 1,000 apples or 1,000 dots, ellipse or ball, you run it, and it keeps moving, and this thing keeps going in draw. Okay, again, imagination is your limitation, so you can try to use I to change the color, give identity, move the vector and all that. Okay, now I'm gonna same problem, search on internet. Ooh, what's that? Okay, so any questions? For loop doesn't work. I'm not sure why. Why is that? Oh, and then other ways of writing for loop is like you can use and as well. You know, try something out. Think about something out of the box and try something out. And actually, any questions? I'm gonna try something now as well. So let's try something. Think about it. Okay, let's try the index that I told you, okay? Now, first of all, we have to write here int index. Okay. And then we write here int index is 0. And then here is the place where we translate the outside information from different page, from the main page to the local one, okay, or to the class. So index. Okay, cool. Now if we run this, it will show an error because here we doesn't put anything yet. So we have to write down I. Okay. And it works. However, it doesn't show the difference because I haven't put the function or the color according to the index number yet. Okay, I'm gonna comment this first, highlight it, comment, highlight it, comment. Okay, so this thing won't show up, and just to show you in draw, okay, nothing is print here, just to show you in draw that the index is really there. It's there already, so I'm gonna print out the index from this draw function. It's gonna print every frame, by the way. Print ln, okay, a dot index. Again, if you think about it again, log loc.x You see here loc.x. Now this ball, what do we have now is log value, speed value, and index values, right? 3 values. Now if we want to print index, we just have to write dot index. Then it's gonna get every ball's information, right? Then we said, okay, dot what, dot index, dot speed, dot what function, dot move, dot display, dot what, right? Okay, now in this case it's dot index. Let's print. You see it print every 1000 points in one frame index. I'm gonna make it less. Let's say only 100. Okay, now I'm gonna use the color here. Okay, so we are using index. Okay, let's say in display we're gonna use fill color, and then we're gonna use index. Ooh, guess what? It should work. Ooh, boom. Oh yeah, it works. See? Again, imagination is the limitation. Coding is a very flexible tools, right? And the reason why I make it less into 100 is because if you make 1000, it means that this number index goes beyond 255. And if you go back to the first lesson, 255, 0 is black, 255 is white, and if you go beyond it, it's gonna be white. Okay, so let's run it. You're gonna see a lot of white. Ooh. Oh, in this case, it's gonna be empty. It's not going to be white. It's going to be empty. Okay, or error, something like that. So now let's try 255. Yeah, variation of color. Okay, and you can also try to how to say use random, right, or something like that. Or you can use index to do something else. Do what? What you wanna do? What you wanna do? Anyways, any questions? Today's lesson is about to finish. Pom 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 pom. Any question? No? Okay, can you copy and paste? Wait. So if it's no, what about can you run the script, the original script? Can you run it? If you can run it, that means there's no problem about for loop. Probably the way you type it, but from looking at it, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, don't save the file. If it doesn't work, probably some hardware software problems. Okay, I'm gonna save this and see you next time. After class. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, May. What's up, May? I still can run it. Oh. Then I think it's some hardware problems. Could you try to install it in install processing, download toxic leaves and everything, and use your friend's computer to do that? I think it's a hardware problems. What about other people? Can you do it? Ooh. What kind of graphic card are you using? In that case, yeah, I think it's strange. How come? Can you write this simple do this void setup? Okay, wait, I'll let you copy and paste this. Actually, we don't need size. Can you write something? Okay, can you copy paste this? It's very short and it's just click at the top left and create something new here and then paste this. Sure. Okay, and see if it works. It's very short, just to check. Again, guys, if anybody run into some problems, right, you can check with other window, okay, or delete some lines and make the script simpler and something like that. And the last way is to test with your friend's computer. Does it work? I will have to go soon. Ooh, okay, then I think, oh, that should only be one setup, not two. Delete the voice setup, blah 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 up there. Delete this voice setup, open and close. Why? Then I think it's okay. I'll try to figure it out. I'll type to you later. Okay, probably you're gonna have to change some computer. Okay, so guys, thank you very much. See you next time. Bye bye. 加油. Hehehe. Hoo hoo hoo. Ha ha ha. How to stop this? How do I stop this? Stop. Ui.